many apps do you have on your phone? I feel like I'm constantly clearing out apps only to find my phone just fills up with more of them. I try really hard to be a minimalist about these things, but it's a journey. Anyway, I'm not here to get you to download loads more apps that are just going to take up space on your phone and that you're not going to use, but I do want to share with you my favourite apps for making videos on my mobile, the ones that I come back to all the time. So today I'm going to talk you through the ones that I use throughout my video creation process, from planning and the pre-production stage through to the filming and then editing my final project. Now, I've got an iPhone, but most of these apps are also available for Android phones as well. And if they aren't, then I've got a few recommendations of alternatives for you. Some of them are actually better. Hi, I'm Lottie Stevenson. I'm a former BBC video journalist turned filmmaker based in the UK, and I share ways to help you make videos about what you do. If you saw my video about the 4 things I do before I hit record, you'll know that I always plan out my videos, no matter how long or short they are. So the first app that I turn to when I create videos is Notion. Now, Notion is an incredible planning, organisation and productivity app. I'm not really quite sure how you categorise it. I'm very, very new to it. I've only been using it for the last 4 to 6 weeks maybe, but I absolutely love it and it's changed my life. So I now use it to organise all of my video creation, from this YouTube channel to the professional work that I do for clients. And it is so incredibly helpful for organising your ideas and the video process. So for these YouTube videos, I have this Kanban board which lists out all of my videos from concept through to completion, and it shows me exactly where they are in the process, which is just so fantastic. I love being able to see everything just in one glance, and then I can click on each video and it comes up with its own page, and this is where I can start putting down my ideas when I'm creating a new video. So I go to New, I click on the video template. This is one that I've customised from one that Ali Abdal shared. I'll share my tweaked version of it in the link below if you'd like to use it too. But this video template page basically just gives me a structure to work to, and it helps me get my ideas into some kind of order. So here I just brain dump basically. I make sure that I fill out this before I even think about recording. So this is where I'll script out my whole video, but I'll also use it to add research notes. I'll write down title ideas. I'll create lists of tags so that people can find my videos. I'll write the descriptions and any links that I might need to include. Before I used this app, I just used my Notes app in my phone, which was perfectly fine, but it does have very limited functionality compared to using something like Notion. And I love the way that Notion allows me to have this progress chart for each video I'm working on, and to include categories for those videos too. You can also access Notion through your web browser on a laptop or a desktop, which I find super helpful if I want to write out my script using a keyboard, for example, rather than tapping it out on my phone. So for the prep stage, my go-to app is Notion. And once I've planned out my video here, I'll be ready to start recording. If you've ever looked for a filmmaking app, you'll know how many there are out there. There are so many apps for creating videos. It can feel a bit overwhelming and hard to know which one to choose. But the truth is that I think a lot of them are actually quite gimmicky and not helpful. The best thing you can do is learn how to use your inbuilt camera properly in video mode. And honestly, most of the time when I'm filming using my phone, I just use the native camera app. I can swipe to it really fast from the home screen, and I love how quickly I can start shooting with it. However, earlier this year, I downloaded Protake, which is an incredible filming app. You know how in your photos you've got portrait mode and it gives you that nice blurry background look? Well, it's always been a bit frustrating that they didn't introduce that feature in video mode, and that is where Protake comes in. It allows you to shoot video in that kind of portrait mode, which is just awesome. But there are a few drawbacks to this. First, like the photo version, the blurry background feature is a bit of digital trickery. It's trying to replicate that shallow depth of field that you usually get only with very expensive lenses, where you can select one plane of focus within your image and it throws the rest of it out of focus. So on our phones, this is done digitally, and so it's essentially guessing at what we want in focus. We can help that by tapping the screen to select a focus point, but it doesn't always give a perfect result. It can really depend what you're filming as to how successful or not this is. The other issue is that you can't use the video portrait mode when you're using the selfie lens. And I think this is quite annoying because a lot of us would probably want to use it that way. However, I do think it's a really great option if you're shooting quick clips with someone and maybe you want to try to achieve a more kind of professional looking interview style shot, or maybe you just want to focus your viewer's attention on a very specific part of the screen, and you can do that with this app. But aside from that one feature, it's just a much more professional interface for your video. So it's perfect if you do want to have more custom controls than you can get in your native camera app. So you can adjust lots of different things here, like you can change the resolution, your frame rate, your aspect ratio, and you've got better visibility on things like your audio levels, extremely helpful, and your battery life. The free version is great, but the pro version gives you access to even more professional functions, like being able to control your shutter speed, ISO, zoom, all pretty awesome pro features. My next recommendation in this section for filming apps is LapseIt. It's a time-lapse app that you can use for both Apple and Android. Now, I know you can shoot time-lapses within the native camera app, but there are really limited controls. In terms of design, LapseIt is not the most beautiful app. It looks quite clunky and dated actually, but LapseIt gives you loads of options, and it means that you can shoot much more creative time lapses than you would be able to do within the native app on your mobile. So time lapses are essentially a series of still images or photographs that are stitched together to play like a video, a bit like those flip books you might have had as a kid. And so having more control over them can be really helpful if you want to use them in your filmmaking. So first, the really key difference is that you can choose the time intervals, so the intervals between the shots that are taken. So you can adjust those from every millisecond through to hours. So if you're shooting a scene that's only changing very slowly, you aren't going to want to take a shot every second. You might only want one shot every minute, or maybe one shot every half an hour. LapseIt lets you do that. You can also adjust things within the app, like your exposure, your resolution, which lens you want to use. You can set a focus point, choose your white balance. It also lets you dim the screen while you're recording to save battery life. Brilliant feature, and so much more. It just gives you extra control over your capture compared to the inbuilt options. So it means you can make some really creative time lapses with your phone. I'm a huge fan of time lapses because they basically edit themselves, and you can use them as standalone mini videos for social media, or use the footage as part of other video projects. So for me, having an app like this is a big help, and it gives your time lapses a more professional edge. My final recommendation in the filming app section is the video teleprompter. It's currently only available for Apple devices, but Nano teleprompter is a really excellent Android alternative and might actually be better. If I'm filming videos where I need a script, or I have a very tight time duration I need to hit, like if I'm recording a Facebook ad video and it has to be under 30 seconds, then I find it really helpful to have a teleprompter or auto cue to keep me on track. Now, I've tried quite a lot of these apps, and this is by far my favourite. You can record everything right in the app, and it also lets you adjust lots of things like the size of the text and the speed, which you can do in most of the apps. But my favourite thing is that you can adjust the size of the margins and where the text appears on your screen. And this means you can squash up the text as close as possible to the lens. Now, one of the biggest giveaways when it comes to reading an auto cue or teleprompter is that it can look really obvious that you're reading from one. But we don't want that. You want to look like you're speaking naturally to the camera. So by putting the text as close to the lens as possible, it reduces your eye movement and it kind of stops you from looking like you're reading an auto cue. So it gives you a much more natural look. It looks like you're just talking straight to the camera. Now, I really like this app and I've used it a lot. The only drawback is, for me, that you can't use it if you're doing live videos, but actually I probably wouldn't want to use it for that. But if you're recording something in advance, it's absolutely perfect. Finally, my favourite app for editing is InShot. Now, I've tried lots of editing apps. If you've ever looked yourself, you'll realise there are loads. And maybe it's because I'm just used to using this one, but I just think it's so intuitive. You can learn it really fast and you can do pretty much everything you need to do on the free version. And it's got some really brilliant inbuilt features. So a few of them are being able to change the canvas size really quickly. So you can reshape your video to be vertical if it's horizontal, or you can change it to a square shape all really quickly. And this is great if you want to repurpose your video content for other platforms, for example. Another feature I love is that you can pre-select the bits of the clips that you want to bring in to edit with. So, for example, if you've recorded an interview, but you know you only want the last 60 seconds of it, you can just select that last minute of the clip to import. Brilliant. Another huge bonus for me is that there's an inbuilt music library of pre-licensed tracks. And if you've ever spent any time looking for music, you will know how time-consuming and potentially costly this process can be. So having a bank of music that you can choose from, safe in the knowledge that your video isn't going to be removed or taken down because of copyright issues, is a really big relief as a creator. It's also got lots of other features like being able to record voiceovers, you can add captions and text to your videos, and I just love that you can do it all really easily right within the app. You're not having to import lots of things from different places. You can do it all within the one app. You can do almost everything you need within the free version, but I would recommend paying to upgrade because it's pretty affordable, and it does mean that you can export your videos without the watermark, so they'll just look a bit more professional when you share them. The main thing is, don't be obsessed by filmmaking apps. You can do pretty much everything you need right within your own phone or device. And these apps are just enhancements. They make the process a little smoother or easier or quicker, but they're not necessities. And you definitely don't need to use loads of them to make a difference to your output. Just a handful that are really useful, like these ones that I've just mentioned, can make a really big impact to your workflow and the look and feel of your videos. What I would suggest is, rather than downloading everything and then trying to use them all at once, try to incorporate just one app at a time. Play around with it, have fun, get to know it, and then once you're really familiar with it, move on to the next one and then bring that one into your process. I'd love to know what apps you use to create your videos on your mobiles. Let me know your favourites. I'm always keen to find new ones. If you want to see what kit I use to make my mobile videos at the moment, you can check out this video, which runs through exactly what's in my kit bag at the moment. Hit the like button if you've enjoyed this video, subscribe if you aren't already, and I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.